and we are going to explore. Welcome to commUNITY.
Hi, I'm Pete Gallivan.
And I'm Claudine Ewing. We're going to start off the show talking about something that you like, fashion.
We are both fashionable, so it works.
Chad, tell us about Buffalo Fashion Runway.
Definitely. So Buffalo Fashion Runway Black Carpet, it'll be a celebration of diversity through the arts. So we'll be highlighting local Buffalo designers, artists, dance crews, and poets. And it'll all be a celebration for Black History Month. So we'll have the designers curate at least 1 to 2 items geared towards the theme of Black history. And the poets, and they will create like a custom piece for Black History Month.
Kane, why are you excited about this?
I'm just excited to see the creativity in Buffalo showcased on a level that we're producing at this point. We're really trying to connect 2 different realms of business with the startup community and with the creative community. And what we're really trying to do is create a room that shows exactly what Buffalo is and what Buffalo can be as well.
You know, a lot of people don't think of Buffalo as fashion. This city isn't what comes to mind when you think of it.
Yeah.
Are you guys
Wait
trying
a minute,
to change that?
I don't know about that.
Except for Claudine. You guys are changing that image.
Absolutely. I think, like I mentioned, the platform is one of the most important things. The city is budding with creatives that are looking for an outlet in the support structure that we're trying to create with this collective.
Definitely. Like I see the potential in Buffalo, right? There is so much entrepreneurship, diversity, there's so much talent here, right? And like we're a 30-minute plane ride from the city, 2-hour drive from Toronto. I see Buffalo as a hub or a future hub for fashion, for the arts, for creativity, for people to come, live, and thrive.
Absolutely. I think we're in the midst of a renaissance here in Buffalo, and with the attention and the effort that's being poured into the city and the surrounding areas, I think it only makes sense that we can do our part in the way that we see fit and where our passions lie.
The event will be held at Northland Workforce Training Center on February 24th, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. The link to buy tickets are on Eventbrite.
You all are honoring 10 icons. Who are these individuals? What's that about?
Yeah, so we don't want to give them all away, but we definitely wanted to celebrate not only models and arts, we wanted to celebrate people, Black people that are doing great things in the Buffalo community. So we have some local influencers, some local leaders, the likes of Zanetta Harts, Mark Tallies, Kendra Brims, right? I don't want to give away all of them, but we want to celebrate them as they have done great things in this community, and it is Black History Month, you know, so we want to celebrate them as the icons that they are.
Doesn't this show Black history is history for all of us? I mean, look at us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome. And as long as we're talking about the arts, we are going to introduce you now, through the words of Keelan Berrien, to an East Buffalo entrepreneur who's opening up opportunities for everyone.
It's a multimedia company, photography, film, documentaries. We record music. All you need is bring your idea, walk into the studio, we'll just set it up for you.
It doesn't look like much from the outside, but when you step inside, you will see a filmmaker
Give me something like...
making movie magic.
Just turn your shoulders. Storytelling is part of Ghanaian heritage, and I want that to transcend into Buffalo community. So with us at NAC Studios, what we do is it doesn't really matter who you are, the race, whether you are Black, whether you are white, because this is a big challenge here in Buffalo.
Samuel Anakwa, a Ghanaian-American filmmaker, opened a multimedia studio in the East Side. He did it last October and is helping cast more diverse people into Buffalo's film industry.
I'm looking forward to meet some people, some film people, that we can connect, sit down, and talk about film and bring something up that will push Buffalo.
But the journey has been kind of tough.
I tried to meet 1 or 2 people, but the connection is still not there.
Now Sam does it all. He does a little bit of filmmaking, photography, even dabbles a little into music. Now the best part about it all is he lets college students get a piece of it.
Working as a student affairs professional and having this as a side job, it will pave a lot of opportunities for me. I just want to be very strategic with my work as a professional to be apart or set myself apart from other colleagues.
Sam has won an awards in Africa for cinematography and used his skills to produce films with local schools.
Someone like me coming from Africa to America, it is not easy.
But with the lights, cameras, and Sam's actions, he has the right focus.
I wanted to highlight these key elements of Buffalo that makes it what it is today. Specifically the Colored Musicians Club. They brought so much to Buffalo. I wanted to portray the liveliness that the club brings to the community. I started with doing research, and I found out history in Buffalo, multiple different organizations and clubs. I picked that one specifically because music drives me and it helps me create art. So I wanted to highlight that. I hope that they will be inspired to also create something for their culture too. You know, it's important that everybody feels empowered in Buffalo. When you think of purple and yellow, you think of pride, you know, like powerful. So I wanted to make sure that I shared that message with the image also.
You're driving down the street and now you're going to see a bus. Your name is on the bus,
Yeah.
and it's your work.
It's beautiful. It's really like, it's great to see, and I can't wait to see it, like driving down the street in motion.
Coming up on Community, from the hoops
To the ice.
we're going to tell you all about it.
Cody McKechnie. And the Sabres finally put it away.
Join us every weeknight for Channel 2 News at 5:30 as award-winning anchor Claudine Ewing brings you the top stories of the day. For less talk and more news from a trusted voice, watch Channel 2 News at 5:30 with Claudine Ewing on your side. An American sprinter who overcame childhood polio, Wilma Rudolph won 3 gold medals, becoming the first American woman to win 3 medals in track and field at the same Olympic Games. 2 on Your Side proudly celebrates Black History Month.
This month, we're looking for 200 homeowners interested in getting a new fence. We're offering up to $1,000 off, plus an upgrade of up to 10 free solar caps. Our fences outlast wood 3 to 1 and are backed by our extensive lifetime warranty. Call now or visit the website for your new fence today.
What's the matter, Old Gold?
I'm all broken up. Nobody wants me.
Airport Plaza Jewelers loves Old Gold. We will buy you for cash, melt you down, cast you into new jewelry, and even crown you with a beautiful new diamond.
Wow, can we go now?
Of course, Old Gold.
And what about my friends?
Airport Plaza Jewelers also buys diamond jewelry, coin collections, antique jewelry, vintage watches, and more.
Can I come too?
Sure, old timer, you're all welcome.
Yay! Just take the 33 East to Union Road. Look for the bright red awning. And remember,
We buy it all.
When it comes to good health, prevention is the best medicine. So remember, it takes 2. Just 2 minutes to schedule a screening or a checkup that could save your life.
In recent years, rates of esophageal cancer have nearly doubled in adults 45 to 64. Early stages of esophageal cancer are less likely to be caught, so if you have these risk factors, please take 2 minutes to schedule a screening today. It Takes 2 is sponsored by UBMD Surgery and 2 on Your Side.
This month, you can get a concrete coating for free with our scratch-off gift. And if you don't happen to win one of the free coatings we're giving away, you will win something guaranteed. No matter what you win, you can get a brand new coating for as little as $30 per month. Call the number or visit the website for your new floor today.
we can't celebrate Black History Month in sports without acknowledging a local college basketball player. Talk about madness, horns up to UB Bulls' Chella Watson, who has racked up plenty of accolades this season. Chella Watson loves the game of basketball.
Basketball is everything to me. Been loving it ever since I was a little girl.
And within the game of basketball, loves putting up points.
I've always been a scorer, though. I have the scoring mentality, but I'm not afraid to pass it either.
Opposing defenses would probably prefer to see her pass than shoot. Watson ranks third in the entire country in scoring at 24.8 points per game, only behind Iowa star Caitlin Clark and standout USC freshman Juju Watkins.
When I get in the flow, it's basically just hard to stop. I just want the ball back, and I want to keep scoring in bunches.
That's what happened earlier this season at Toledo, when Watson dropped a school record 47 points and reached 1,000 for her career. At the team's next home game, head coach Becky Burke presented her with a commemorative ball.
having a front row seat. I got the best seat in the house to see her doing what she's doing.
Making this season more special, it's Watson's first on the court at UB after sitting out last year due to NCAA transfer rules.
I was ready, excited. I couldn't wait.
Watson came to Buffalo from USC Upstate, following her coach to Western New York after athletic director Mark Allnut hired Burke in 2022.
I'll never forget when Mark and I were talking throughout the process. You know, he's like, hey, have anybody in mind who you could potentially bring in? You're gonna have to fill some roster spots. And I'm like, I got the best player in the MAC that's gonna come with me.
The surroundings have changed, but what's remained the same is the strength of the player-coach relationship, dating back to USC Upstate when Watson was leaving notes asking how she could improve her game.
Just basically building our bond at Upstate, and I will always leave little notes, and knowing that she wanted to push me, that's just something I put on the paper, and she's been doing it ever since I wrote it.
Now as Watson helps the Bulls pursue a MAC championship and an NCAA tournament berth, Burke believes Buffalo is witnessing a historic career.
My opinion might be a hot take. I think she'll be the best player that ever put on a uniform here. We're looking at the pace and the track that she's on. And I know that's a bold statement, but I believe in her, and I think that's something that could potentially be a conversation that we're having when she's done here.
Oh, here's a chance. McKechnie scores!
For 5 seasons, Tony McKechnie electrified the crowds at Memorial Auditorium, but growing up a black hockey player in Canada in the 1960s and 70s wasn't always easy.
I was a hero at home, but every away rink I went to, at one point I thought my middle name was the N-word.
Born in Montreal and adopted at the age of 13 months by a white family in Sarnia, Ontario, Tony worked hard to keep the issue of race out of his mind and just focus on hockey. Then, when he was about to turn pro, it hit him head on. He was drafted into the now defunct World Hockey Association by the Birmingham Bulls.
I signed a contract with Birmingham before the NHL draft, and a bunch of season ticket holders actually protested that a black person was going to be playing for the Birmingham Bulls. My mother was quite worried about me going to Alabama. It was the first time I ever saw my mother cry in my life.
But those tears were soon dried as Tony was able to get his contract rescinded and sign in the NHL with the Buffalo Sabres.
But the fact that it was close to the border, I was from Canada. My parents could come down, and the guys treated me royally.
Tony and I talked as he was visiting the NHL's United by Hockey Mobile Museum on its recent stop to Buffalo. He remembered how well he was treated by the Sabres ownership, Seymour and Nordy Knox. And while the players welcomed him with open arms, Tony also found comfort in fellow athletes from other sports, namely the Buffalo Braves and the Buffalo Bills.
The guys just treated me like I was no different than anybody else. I got to know some of the Bills' black football players. Was able to hang out with them, and it made me feel comfortable.
Jeff Nixon was a player on that Bills team, and he's still a close friend of Tony.
We kind of hung out together. I don't know if we see that much anymore with professional teams in Buffalo, but you know, I thought it was great that we all kind of got along together.
And the comfort level was evident in his game. Tony would become only the 4th black player in NHL history and the first to score 40 goals in a season and to appear on the front page of the Hockey News. His career, which included stops in Quebec, Minnesota, New York, St. Louis, Detroit, and Chicago, was a prolific one. 320 goals, 639 points in 912 games.
The kids have mentioned to me that I was an inspiration to them, thinking they could be accepted. Jerome McGillivray being one of them that brought that up to me, and that makes me very proud.
It's easy to look back and see the impact that you had. When you were playing, did you feel like a trailblazer?
You know what? I didn't think about it much. I just wanted to fit in. I wanted to be one of the guys. I wanted to maintain being a goal scorer, and didn't think about it much. When the second black hockey player came in the league, I thought, okay, there's somebody else there.
And as we walked through the museum, looking at the people who have made an impact on the sport from all races, Tony takes pride in his place in hockey history and thankful for the start he had here in the Queen City.
It couldn't have been a better experience for me for my first 5 years of 15 playing professional hockey, but I'm so glad the start was here in Buffalo.
Well, we just heard from Jeff Nixon, the former Bill, but his late wife, Joyce Wilson Nixon, certainly made her mark, and she's going to be celebrated soon with the renaming of the casino at MLK Park in her honor.
And it's so fitting because Joyce Wilson Nixon was all about community and kids.
Up until her untimely passing after a long battle with COPD in September, Joyce Wilson Nixon was a powerhouse for the causes she championed. No one knows that better than her husband.
She was just a phenomenal woman. You know, she had so many groups that she was involved with, the Hispanic community, the black community, the white community. She was what I call every woman.
Kids from underserved communities were her main passion, and for 35 years she worked with the National Intercities Youth Opportunities. She told us in an interview why she fought so hard for youth funding.
Once we start losing our community schools, schools that are anchors in this community, we start losing whole generations of kids.
And that's why the announcement by Mayor Brown at Joyce's funeral that the casino at MLK Park would be named in her honor meant so much to Jeff.
I just cried. It was just such an honor to hear him say that. And then at the funeral, he made the formal announcement.
He says it would have meant even more to Joyce, who was all about bringing people together.
She stood for everything that Black America wants to see happen. That is freedom, respect for the races, and just giving love out there to everybody.
And of course, she did that with her other passion, music.
Yeah, music does that. It has a way of binding us all together.
In fact, she often shared the stage with Jeff as part of the band Tailor Made Jazz. Her last performance was on the Variety Kids Telethon last year. And this spring, a formal dedication will take place unveiling her sign at MLK Park.
Just a tremendous honor, and it's well-deserved.
Speaking of former Buffalo Bills, Jim Kelly and his wife Jill have been trying to make their mark in the world of health because of tragic circumstances.
Right. Their son was born with Krabbe disease, and they want to make sure that every newborn born across the country is tested. Buffalo came to know the Kellys not just through football, but through their only son, Hunter. Not long after he was born, he was diagnosed with Krabbe leukodystrophy. It's a disease of the nervous system that affects the brain's white matter. Hunter lived 8 years. Most kids live 2 years, but if screened at birth, the outcome can be different. And that's why the Kellys have been fighting for a long time with their organization, Hunter's Hope.
So much work has been done, so much advocating for these children for almost 2 decades.
Yeah.
And now, to have them finally give a positive yes vote is so humbling.
The Federal Newborn Screening Advisory Committee voted 10-3 to add Krabbe leukodystrophy disease to the recommended newborn screening panel. It will now go to the Secretary of Health for final approval.
I broke down in tears because I understand how important Hunter's life was, but I also know that what we're doing with Hunter's Hope is making a difference.
This is a major victory.
We've been advocating for newborn screening to, because as you well know, when you have a child, everybody, they get the heel prick, the baby, and they send that blood spot off to a lab. Why not add Krabbe leukodystrophy to the panel? And we just couldn't believe it's taken this long for everybody to understand why this is not being tested.
Only 11 states, including New York, screen for Krabbe.
If they can detect it early, they can treat it early and hopefully give, that beautiful young child a leg up in this fight.
Children tested early can be treated and live a normal life.
The fight continues, but this is a tremendous victory and a huge hurdle that we are finally over.
Coming up next on Community, we will take you to a landmark in the fight against slavery.
And the music of Thomas Hall.
My attorneys now at the Barnes firm settled my job accident case for 65 times more than insurance said they'd pay. Glad I called.
After a car rear-ended me, my attorneys now at the Barnes firm got me $800,000.
Is your case worth more than the insurance company says? Call us. You might be surprised.
I called. My case was worth $600,000.
What's your case really worth? Call now and find out.
Call 1-800-8-million.
Imagine life without that awful joint pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, and back. Now there's an amazing non-invasive medical option available here. Regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics. No surgery, no steroids. A natural solution that helps restore damaged tissue in your joints with long-lasting results. Don't spend one more day in pain. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation. Learn more about these non-surgical procedures at QC Kinetics.
Cornerstone makes choosing a credit union over a bank easy. Become a member today and start earning up to 5.25% APY on balances with Cornerstone's new community checking account. With no monthly fees or minimum balance requirements, banking just got easier. Open an account online at ccfcu.org and start saving with security and peace of mind. Cornerstone. Bank. Borrow. Experience freedom. Terms and conditions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
Introducing the new 2024 GMC lineup from Bob Johnson GM in Leroy, New York. The Sierra, refining strength and sophistication. The Terrain, where style meets substance in the city. And the Acadia, the ultimate in versatility and comfort for your adventures. GMC's 2024 lineup at Bob Johnson GM in Leroy, New York. Built for those who demand the best performance, technology, and design. GMC, we are professional grade.
Stay fit and save now at Burt's Bikes and Fitness with deals like these. Endurance fan bike, save $300, now only $699. Sunlight F5 spin bike, save $200, now only $499. Stage SC1 spin bike, save over $500, now only $1299. And you can buy now with no interest for a full year. Find all the home fitness equipment you need and pay no interest for a full year at Burt's Bikes and Fitness, Orchard Park, Williamsville, Tonawanda, and Lancaster.
Welcome back to Community. Well, we know this region is steeped with history, especially when it comes to the battle against slavery, from activists to the Underground Railroad. But did you know that in Niagara-on-the-Lake, you can actually visit a spot where one of the first laws in the world was signed against slavery? The Niagara Parkway was once called the prettiest Sunday drive in the world by Winston Churchill, or so the legend goes.
Well, we sure say that. We use that a lot.
Jim Hill is the senior manager of Heritage for Niagara Parks. He says dotted along the 35-mile trek from Fort Erie to Niagara-on-the-Lake are points of history. Most notably, history related to the fight against slavery.
But really, like on both sides of the border, the river is this important gateway and travel route, had been for thousands of years.
It was certainly a landing pad for freedom seekers traveling the Underground Railroad, but also the road to abolition for much of Canada. Niagara-on-the-Lake was named Newark in the late 1700s and was the capital of Upper Canada.
And of course, on this side of the border, there have been a lot of black soldiers who'd fought in Ranger regiments and against guys like George Washington. So they were pushing for an outright ban.
It was here that the very first law of its kind was passed. Navy Hall, which is now part of the Fort George campus, was the home to the first provincial parliament of Upper Canada, a body that in 1793 passed the Act Against Slavery.
It's the first act against slavery in the British world.
This act did not free the enslaved, but it prevented enslaved people from being brought into or sent out of Upper Canada. It was a bill printed right here in this very room, possibly on this very press at Mackenzie Printery. It's now a museum, and they even have a copy of the bill on display.
This is the oldest printing press in Canada. One of the oldest in North America.
Such legislation certainly called for celebration at a spot where you can still raise a glass today, the Old Angel Inn. It was known then as the Harmonious Coach House, and although records from the time are a bit sketchy, it's believed that the legislators celebrated the event over dinner at the inn, just one of the many events and places that shaped our region.
So there's just a mountain of history that really changed how both countries developed over time and built friendships.
At the Colonel Ward pumping station, where vital work is conducted, when it comes to water, there are 3 female chemists running the lab. We spoke with a couple of them as women and girls in science are being recognized around the globe.
I think a lot of things are opening up for women, and you might think it's a man's world, but I think things are changing, and if you want to go for it, you can do it.
Julie and Elijah are hard at work making sure the tap water in Buffalo is safe for you to drink.
I test the water at different stages of the pre-treatment process, so I'm able to monitor what's happening as it's coming through the plant and ensure that water quality is maintained when it's leaving the plant.
Julie grew up in Williamsville, fascinated by earth and animals. At UB, she fell in love with geology and ecology. Elijah was into forensics. Chemistry was a challenge.
I was determined to master it.
The water comes from Lake Erie to the intake, underground into the plant, and once here, their work begins.
I'm responsible in the safety of the water for the city. I test it. I know every day. I go home and I drink it.
Every day we test for turbidity, pH, chlorine, as well as a lot of bacteria testing. So someone goes and samples at different sites throughout the city of Buffalo, brings that samples right back to here.
These women are proof that opportunities are there. Go for it.
I think that's amazing for us to be able to see more women. You get that comfortability.
And they're doing the work over and beyond. They have a standard set by the EPA and the Health Department, collecting 150 samples throughout the community.
We do way more than 150, so we are up to 180, up to 200 sometimes.
It makes me really proud to see the results and proving that Buffalo water is clean and safe for the public.
For Elijah, she knows her presence is inspiring. She is just the second Black chemist to hold this position at Buffalo Water.
It's nice when someone who looks like me doesn't think that they can do that job, but then they see me and I'm doing it, and they know that they can.
I got nothing but love for you, baby. Springtime's finally here. The flowers everywhere.
Thomas Hall of Buffalo, he's been singing since he was 11 as he watched his family sing in a group.
When they had a little break or whatever they're playing, he'd tell me to come up and he'd set the microphone stand right there and they'd start playing and he would just say, sing something. And I'm standing there and I would just sing and make up things.
As time went on, he joined a group called the Five Senses.
I was touch, right? So that was actually an inspiration to me because I wanted to touch everybody whenever I sang.
Next group was Sabata.
We assigned a record deal with United Artists Records when I was with Sabata. So we were recording out of New York City, right upstairs from Studio 54. Limousines, as far as the eye can see, but we were taking care of business. And we opened for the group from back in the day, Brass Construction.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and we opened for them at the Apollo.
But success was with the Exotics and Springtime Love.
We were doing a performance in Canada. And we're getting calls, oh my goodness, the song is taking off.
Reality hit while driving down East Ferry and listening to the radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, Buffalo's own Exotics. And the song came on and I heard my voice.
It can happen to you, just like it happened to me. Can't believe it happened. No one knows how or why.
Music has changed. The appetite is different.
I'm not knocking anyone's music, but they're talking about the same thing, but the words that they're using to talk about those things completely different. The morality of the world has changed a bit, you know, so certain things that wasn't liked before is liked now. Yeah. Just remember when rap first came out, oh my goodness, oh, but compared to then and now,
yeah,
it's a whole nother thing. I'm not forcing anything on anyone. This is just who I am, staying true to myself.
Well, that's it for another month on Community, and I'm exhausted. We got through a lot.
We certainly did. We hope that you enjoyed watching Community. Stay with us next month. It's all about the women.